All right, so from today, I'm going to be reading from Galatians chapter 3, verses 1 through 5. Let me just read to you what I liked out of it. O foolish Galatians, who has bewitched you that you should not obey the truth, referring to Jesus Christ and him being crucified, before whose eyes Jesus Christ has been evidently set forth crucified among you. This only would I learn of you. Did you receive the Spirit by works of the law or by hearing of faith? This is referring to being born again, at which time the Spirit of God comes into the heart and life of the new believer. It is received simply by trusting Christ and what he did at the cross. Are you so foolish, having begun in the Spirit? Are you now made perfect by the flesh? Have you suffered so many things in vain? If it be yet in vain, which is saying basically everything that you have suffered persecution because of your acceptance of Christ. And don't throw it away, because it is representing that you trust that those things considered vain are not vain in the long run. So it says, I trust it is not in vain. That basically it's all for a reason. He, the Lord, therefore, who ministers to you the Spirit and works miracles among you, does he it by the works of the law or by hearing of the faith? And any kind of question like that is just not even a trick question. It's just straight faith. Everything you do is supposed to be backed up with the utmost faith. And it goes, everything the Lord does is done on the basis of the believer exhibiting faith. It is never by works of the law. So let's say if it comes to the law, that has to do with like karma. Karma is always going to come back to you and, catch up to someone else who is creating it for themselves. Whereas faith, your faith, your specific faith is going to be what determines your prayers being answered, and as well as the life that you choose to live as well determines when you get an answer to a prayer, or if you have to learn a few things before you get a prayer answered. All of that comes together, having to do with, are you wanting to live for God? Are you wanting to live righteously? Are you wanting to have faith? Are you wanting to grow your faith? Are you using your faith to back up any and everything in your life after you've given your life to God, after you've been born again, after you've been baptized? That's what I studied on today, and that it just had me thinking, like, even after I was baptized, I fully wasn't all the way changed like that. It's not gonna happen overnight. But I've asked ever since. Let me see. I got baptized the 29th of August, and I did say a prayer not too long afterwards where it had to do with interfere. I need you to interfere, and I need you to put me on the path that I need to be on, and not the one that I'm on myself. And it worked. It worked. Not in the way that I had planned or thought, but it was the way that it needed to be. Like, it needed to happen. Because I had a secret. I was keeping secrets. And I was caught in a lie. And I still chose to lie. And that's what I spent today pretty much thinking about. Like, why couldn't I have just straight out came and just admitted to it once I was caught in the lie, But I don't know. But it just had me like stuck in thought. So today, that's what I prayed about, like the hardest about. I prayed the hardest about, for one, thanking him for bringing the darkness to the light. Because growing up, I was always told, what's done in the dark is gonna come to the light. And that's exactly what happened. Like, I wasn't even mad at the fact that once I was realizing what had just happened, like, okay, you can't You can't keep hiding it or keeping it a secret and not expect it to come to the light one day or eventually. And it was weird because I was wanting it to come to the light, but I just couldn't do it myself. I couldn't just straight out come and say, this is what I've been doing. I think that you would want to know this. I can't do that. I couldn't do that. And even when they gave me multiple chances, they asked me multiple times, just to see if I would come out with the truth. And I didn't. And that's pretty much what has had me in the state that I'm in today, just wanting to figure out how to go about it now, like that was basically a confirmation that what is done in the dark will come to the light, no matter how long you try to hide it, no matter how hard you try to lie about it, it's going to come to the light, and you just have to own up to it, or I don't even know. I just own up to it. Just like, it's not even a hard situation. It's just hard when you're caught in it and you don't know how to get out of it. Because before it happened, before it came up, before I was confronted with it, before it came to the light, it was already eating at me. I was already wanting to say what I was doing. And I just hadn't gotten the courage to do it on my own. So I took what happened recently as a sign of, kind of like pushing me to do it. Literally pushing me to do it, forcing me to do it, because it was already laid out in front of me. How can I deny something that is in front of me, Even though my very first reaction, like, to the whole thing was to act like I didn't know nothing about it, when it's impossible to play that off when it was in my home that it was found out, So yeah, I just don't ever want to do that again to myself or anybody. I don't want to keep living with something that I want to be done with, And it made me realize a lot, even if you don't mean to hurt somebody, like, you can, and in a deeper way than you thought you could have, I never thought I'd hurt somebody in the way that I did with that lie, because I had always gotten away. I had always gotten away with it, this is not even a good excuse, but I only lie when I know I can get away with it. I know there's plenty of other people like that, but I can admit that I only lie when I know I can get away with it. But this time I couldn't get away with it because it was literally eating at me, and I was wanting it to come out. I was wanting it to be exposed somehow. And I couldn't even get mad when it happened. When it happened, I was just like, just thinking about it, like, okay, now I have to admit it. But I was just praying the whole time, God give me the words, God give me the strength, God give me the knowledge I need right now to know what to say, so I don't say the wrong things. And it didn't even have to do with what I had to say, but just how I went about it. I didn't have anything to say. I was just. But when they asked me about it, I was just like, no, it happened for a reason. That's the only thing I could think about, was it happened for a reason. And I don't know what that reason is, but I trust that it happened for a good reason, because had I not gotten caught, had I not told that lie, multiple lies or whatever, had that not happened, something good would have come. It was like that close to coming. It was that close to coming to pass. But of course, what's done in the dark comes to the light, and that's not the case. That's not the case at all. But like I said, I trust I trust what's going to come from this. I know that it's going to be for good, whether it can still happen how I wanted, or how they wanted, or how we both wanted. Whether it can still happen that way, or if it's just unfixable at this point, Um, trust is not easy to have in the first place and to gain back. So, you know, I thought I was being patient, but I wasn't patient enough. So, what comes is what I have to endure, It's said a lot in the Bible, those that, I'm gonna have to deal with the consequences of me lying and me trying to keep secrets, I just want this to be like a warning to whoever's watching this, whoever came across this video, just keep in mind that a simple lie, a simple secret, a simple thing you're keeping in the dark, like, can hurt somebody and can hurt an opportunity that you won't even realize until it's at that point where it's already messed up an opportunity. It's already messed up something that could have been good, that could have been all right, Like, I definitely had a big lesson on that. Like, today, that's what I've just been, I guess, stuck thinking about, and just trying to figure out how to go from here, about it. Besides the simple fact of just not lying, But when it happened, it was like I didn't even tell myself, think of a lie. A straight lie just came out, like, just automatically. That was my reaction to that. That in itself kind of just, made me think, like, dang, am I even a good person if I can do that like that, So yeah, I've just been in thought. But like I said, just keep in mind that what's done in the dark will come to the light. No matter how long ago, no matter how recent, no matter how good you are at hiding stuff, it's gonna come. It's gonna come. Especially when you give your life to God and you're wanting Him to interfere in your life in the way that I had said I asked. Can't get mad about what happens. You're gonna have to expect some big things to happen, whether it's change, whether it's downfall, whether it's uplifting, whether it's just realization. You have to be ready for some big things to happen after you choose to give yourself to Him, after you go through with that baptism. So yeah, I that was my word for today. Galatians chapter 3, verses 1 through 5. That whole part. That's what I really was studying on today. And if you're maybe somebody who is recently dealing with this type of situation, got caught in a lie, you messed up something big, it just didn't have to go that way if we were just honest and open about certain things, so keep that in mind for any time in the future. Just the truth will set you free. There we go. Summarize it all up. The truth will set you free, and your lies are going to be what you're going to have consequences for, Whether it's a simple lie, like you did something and you said you didn't. That could be a smaller thing, not even too important. But really it is, because it was a lie you told when you could have just said the truth. And I guess that's why I had to speak this out loud today, so I can hear myself say this, because I had never thought of lying. I mean, of course it's bad, but I had never thought whenever I did it, it was too bad, because I only did it when I knew I could get away with it. And that was proven to me that's not always going to be the case, especially when you want it to be the case. It's not going to be the case. So, you just got to own up to it. You just got to deal with the consequences and Just trust that what happens, happens, and what happens was meant to happen, you know? What happens is meant to happen. That's always. Whether it's good or bad, it was meant to happen. But keep faith. Don't let go of your faith. Do not let go of your faith. Your faith is what's going to get you through. Your faith is what's going to see you to the other side. Your faith is what's going to get stronger when you're on that other side. And your faith is what he loves to see the most, you know, like utilize your faith. Let him know you trust him. Show him that you trust him by not worrying, by praying to him constantly, to opening your Bible every day, to hearing a word every day. Like for me personally, that's just YouTube videos of services, whether it's rewatching a service I missed or things like segments. You know, a lot of people have segments. I can think of Michael Todd, Pastor Rex, Jimmy Swaggart, Brian Trejo. You know, just there's a lot. There's a lot of names. There's a lot of things you can watch, listen to, follow, do Bible study, lead, all of that. I do plan on doing Bible studies on here. Like a guided one, so that you can do it along with me. I just haven't gotten around to kind of planning out those videos, how I would kind of set that up and everything. But I just had to get that off my chest. I just needed maybe somebody coming across it needs to hear it too. You know, your lies, your secrets are all going to have consequences. So the sooner you confess it to somebody or to the person that it could hurt, you want to do that when you're given the opportunity. Trust me. It's much more respectable when you can come out and just say it when you're asked, when you're confronted, compared to when you're confronted multiple times and you still deny it, or you still act like you're just unknowing, you know. And that can mess up some big things. And I don't want anybody to experience what I experienced by doing that, you know. Yeah, kind of just set the mood for a not so joyful day at first. But thank God my name was put onto someone's heart, and they gave me a call today. And they referred me to a scripture in that chapter. And not just that one either. I remember the other one was Psalms 37:4. Delight yourself in the Lord, and he will give you what your heart desires. I believe that is how it is worded. But yeah, that's the other one. And that's what I chose to do today. And for it being my birthday, you know, I woke up sad because of my own choices that I'm dealing with now. Woke up sad, but after that phone call and after that word, and then I just attended a service, you know, I'm okay. I will be okay, you know. Like I said, it's all for a reason, and I learned my lesson. Like, I have learned my lesson. And from here on out, I'd rather just straight out say what it is I did, instead of just prolonging the period of time that they would end up hurt, you know. Just the sooner the better to just come out with the truth. Matter of fact, don't even say the sooner the better. The first thing you want to do is just let the truth out, because it's not worth it. Like, no lie is worth what you would have to deal with as far as the consequences, you know. Whether that's dealing with pain, whether that's dealing with the loss because of a lie, you know. It's just not worth it. It's not. Just remember that. Just please keep that in mind, you know. Like I said, I'm just in disbelief of myself, you know. I've always been told I'm a good person. I really thought I was a good person. But for me to lie like that to someone's face and knowing what it could do, to them, to know that I lied about that, it didn't stop me from doing it. So, just nobody's perfect. We've all got flaws. We're all gonna make mistakes, but it's how you go about it after, Like I said, I think I really learned my lesson. I really think I did. Because it hurt me to know that I hurt them with that lie that I told, multiple times at that. And I may have karma coming one day, someone might do it to me one day, So that's where I will go into more prayer for some discernment, to know, to have a stronger gut feeling if someone was lying to me, But I'm not even gonna worry about that, because I'm not even gonna put myself in a position to let it happen to me, because I'm gonna deal with it. I'm gonna deal with these consequences, and now I just have something to remember why it's not good to lie, It always takes going through certain things for certain people to learn certain things or to react differently to certain things, Like I said, I had always gotten away with it. I always just lied when I knew I could get away with it. It's not okay, but it finally caught up to me. The same way, me not cheating my whole way through school, but when it wasn't, like the end of the school and it was like a lot on a lot, I did cheat my way through a lot of stuff, and that caught up to me after I graduated, after I started to go back to school. I graduated and then I wanted to go back to school, and it was when I went back to school that it became evident, you're not going to get through if you don't go every day. You're not going to get through if you don't do the work that you're supposed to do when you do it, Like, I had did my work when it was high school. I did the work, but I'd miss a lot of days. I'd show up 1 to 2 days, get it all done, not show up for I don't know how many days, My attendance was just not there. I had no set schedule. I had no discipline, none of that. I would just go make up the work. As long as I'm passing, I'm good, But that's not the case in the real world. You have to show up. You have to be on time. You have to be punctual. You have to be reliable. You have to have some kind of schedule. You have to know when you can sleep. You have to know when you're going to be up, when you have to be up. You have to know how much money you're going to need. All of that together, And once I got out of high school, real life kind of just smacked me in the face, It's been a lot of learning. It's been a lot of learning along the way, I only graduated in 2019, and now it's 21. It's been 2 years. No, 2021. About to be 3 years this upcoming summer. So it's like time is flying by, All you can do is learn and just change the way you go about it, because nothing but another test of your faith or of your abilities or of your righteousness is going to come, and you have to be ready for it. You have to know how to react to it. You have to have that discernment. You have to have that discipline, and you have to have God's word. You have to have all of that to guide you when the next time comes, because there's never going to be not another time. There's always going to be another time. There's always going to be another bump in the road. There's always going to be another test, just test in general. So yeah, I pray that y'all don't make the mistakes I've made. Take this as a sign. Maybe you're lying to somebody. Just come out with it. Just say it to them. Maybe you're thinking of lying because you want something or something like that. I don't know. If you're thinking about lying, or if you have lied in general and that person still doesn't know, just let it be known, Like, just let it be known. Don't let it be forced to come to the light. It's better if you bring it to the light yourself, It's just more respectable too, People respect honesty other than covering it up. And, you can lose respect for a simple lie, because it's a simple lie, which could have meant the simple answer of the truth. But you didn't want to admit to it. You didn't want to take accountability. that's another thing for me. Accountability has been a big thing. Like, I guess most times I choose to, let's say I make a choice and it's like, oh, but this person did this, or this person said this, or this happened, so I did this. Where when I started to say that more out loud, it was like, nothing nobody can do or say can make you do something. So you're choosing to do it. You're choosing to do what you do, but blame other people's choices and words, you know? And so once I kept saying that out loud, I just kind of felt like, okay, you do sound stupid saying that. And that's what it came to. So just remember that. Do not lie. Just let the truth come out. It will set you free. You'll have no karma. There will be no consequences. There's never consequences when you tell the truth, you know? It's when you don't that you have nothing but consequences to deal with. So, learn from my mistakes and do not lie. And I thank y'all for tuning in, you know? I'll see y'all soon with another one. Y'all be blessed.